I went through a couple hard seasons, even just coming out of college. And the Lord really had to hold me. And I really had to trust him and say, Lord, like, I don't feel worthy. I don't feel worthy to do anything. Like, I didn't feel worthy enough to hold a mop in a church bathroom. But he was there with me. And I kind of relate it back to the woman at the well. Like, he knew everything. He knew everything about her. And he still went to her, and he still wanted to sit with her, and he still wanted to know her. And after I made that realization, I was like, Lord, if I'm stepping into this, it's because you're carrying me. None of this is about me.
Welcome back to Heaven's Sake. I am your co-host, Kalynn Jones, and in this series, we have been interviewing people who have either impacted our lives, impacted others in some way, and have stories that we would like for you to hear. And today, I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Abby Bristow, and Abby and I go way back. So the last couple of interviews that I have had the honor of interviewing our interviewers, I told you that we didn't go way back, that they were relatively new friendships, but me and Abby go way back.
Way back.
We know each other, and we're actually both, I don't know if you identify as a Sand Mountain girly, do you?
Oh, yes.
Like, we're both Sand Mountain girlies. We're from Northeast Alabama, yes. And we both ended up in the Mobile area. So how did you end up in the Mobile area?
So I actually ended up coming down here to go to school in Bay Minette at Coastal. And I went to a church around that area for a little bit and worked there. And then I just felt kind of like a redirection. And so I ended up at Saraland. And then the Lord just had his hand in literally everything. I see him like the little things that got me down here. And so now I'm at Destination.
And do you work for Destination?
I am. Oh, I do. Sorry. I am the campus support, aka like secretary, admin assistant, and just really anything anybody needs me to do, I get it done.
That is so fun.
Yes.
Oh, I had backup plans. Growing up. I really wanted to go to law school after I graduated, and I tried to do that, but it didn't work out. And then I thought about like started a bakery, and so I had like some a news anchor was on the table, but like I had some backup plans, but really in my heart of hearts, all I ever wanted to do was work for a church. It was really, and I think I just thought I would never be able to do that. Like I wouldn't make that cut. There is no higher honor than really being a doorkeeper in the Lord's house.
Right.
Like I can't imagine doing anything else. It's an honor and a privilege every day to walk into the doors of Oak Park.
That's how I feel at DC, especially like we have all kinds of people come to the door and asking, for help, and just to be able to pray with them and say, like, how can I pray with you? How can the church be praying for you? What can we do to help? And I think that's also just a privilege of being able to answer the phone and having a one-on-one conversation. I'll have all kinds of people call, and I get to know them through the phone. They get to know me, and it's still that type of connection.
And I don't know if you may know this already, or if this is something you'll discover from working for a church, but I have learned so much about myself by working for a church. Yes. I have discovered, not saying that I'm like wonderful in any way, but like I've discovered gifts and abilities and talents that I never, podcasting would have never been something that I thought about. And now it's funny because I told you, like I dropped that little, I thought about being like a news anchor or something like that. But I had no idea how to do that. And like here I sit on a podcast now, like every one of those little desires that I had, like even like thinking about going to be an attorney, and like I get to read and study here and just in being in like the database, and every job that I've had at Oak Park, I've had to really learn how to do. Yeah. And so that like kind of gives me that fix in like that law, like just being able to learn and study and figure it out. And then I wanted to like be a baker, and there's times that I do get to do that here. And so like and then being in podcasting and just so on and so forth, like I just look at God's hand, and like he really did give me a job to where I get to do it all.
Yeah.
And it is such an honor. But the last thing I heard, I think, that you wanted to do was a hairdresser.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
So I'm just going to go into the story with this. I was in high school, and whenever you're a senior, everyone gives you that pressure of like, what are you going to do? Like, what's your next step? And that's a lot of pressure on a senior. Even as a junior, you're like, okay, I got to start thinking about my future. And I was just praying one night before I went to sleep, and I was like, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I just need you to give me direction. And that night I went to sleep, and I've always done, like, my friends' hair for school dances. I've always done my own hair. I've always loved doing people's hair. Like, sometimes I just trim somebody's hair up if they needed it and watch a 5-minute video, and there they go. But he had given me a dream of like, that's what I was doing. And I was called to women's ministry, but I didn't know, like, you can be called to ministry, but not know what to do in that ministry, if that makes sense. And, I was like, I don't know, Jesus. And he gave me that dream. And that's how I eventually got to Coastal, because I was going to go to Coastal and get at least an associate's in business. And, I ended up graduating, but I feel like he kind of changed that dream. I'm obviously, like, my calling is to women and girls, but he's changed that dream to like middle school ministry. So I feel like he used my dream of being a hairdresser, and he gave me that dream to get me down to the point where I'm here, and this is where my heart is at, and this is where my ministry is at. So that way now I'm stepping into that role that I am at Destination. And it's just been a humongous blessing. And I really thought, I was like, well, maybe that was just a dream that I just had for myself. But he was even making ways for me to still, do hair. And I'm still being able to connect with our students at DC and get to connect with not just our middle school girls, but our high school girls. Because sometimes I'll do their hair for pageants, or for, like I did a couple of our high schoolers' hair for homecoming. And so that was just like, I still have that part of me, but it's being used in a different way. So it's super cool.
And so I remember really probably the hardest thing I've ever had to walk, the hardest season I ever had to walk through was at that like 19, 20, 21-year-old. There's nothing like, we put so much pressure on young people, like really, and especially just speaking to some of the stuff you said, being called to ministry, we ask people questions like, and I believe truly, at least for me personally, I do think there are a lot of things that God revealed to me in steps, in phases. I think he knew that if he told 19-year-old Kalynn or 13-year-old Kalynn, like, this is what I want you to do one day, that I would have hitched. I'd have found a way into law school. No way there's no way 19-year-old Kalynn would have had a podcast, truly. I still am one who struggles to, like, talk in certain settings, and like I'm very easily intimidated. Like, I'll hide. I will hide. Like, I told somebody on Wednesday night one time, and I had to explain myself because I forget that he's like the greatest leader in the Bible, but I say I relate to Moses in a lot of ways, and I did not mean that in the good ways. I mean the first Moses who was hiding in the wilderness, and so I didn't have answers. And when I was met with questions like, oh, well, you say you're called to ministry, what do you want to do? I remember one time at church, I was young, and they asked, like, if you feel like called to ministry, write in a fishbowl. Like, they had, like, a fishbowl, and, like, put what area you're called to. And I remember being like, like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I don't know. And so for a while, I even questioned, like, am I called to ministry? Like, these people, they know. I don't know. Like, I just kind of love being at church. Like, I wanted to be at church. I wanted to be at Boaz Church of God. Every time the doors open, and when it wasn't, I knew where the key was hiding. In the oven. Like, sure enough. I went and got the key out of the oven so many times, and I remember thinking, like, I wonder if your dad, which now I need to explain, your dad was my first pastor.
Yes.
And, well, my first pastor in the Church of God. My first real, like, I had a pastor congregation person relationship with.
Yeah.
And first of all, I want to say I do want to just, like, honor your parents for a second, because truly I was thinking about it when I was getting ready yesterday and was thinking about you coming on and was just praying about for you and the episode, and I was thinking, there are a lot of people in my life who I'm gonna cry, which isn't abnormal. I cry a lot. But there are a lot of people in my life who believed in me. There are a lot of people in my life who did not believe in me. But there are a handful of people in my life that recklessly believed in me, who had no merit. I had no references. I had no resume. It was a ridiculous hire on his part. Like, I look back and I go, man, and it's favor that only God can give. And so I honor God first, but also, like, the bravery and the courage that your parents had to just say that we think you can do this. Like, I still look back at that moment in your dad's office where he was like, I really want you to think about taking this job. And I was like, no. Like, why? There are other people. And I did. I just cried. And I was like, and I went home and was just in awe. But I want to back up, going back to talking about what it was like at 18 and 19, because I don't think anybody really knows that, like, weeks prior to that, I was in such a mental battle.
Yeah.
Weeks prior to being hired as the children's pastor, literally like 10 days, I'm guessing, but it wasn't long, and I was literally just so, what are you going to do? I had, tried to get into college and I couldn't. I had, tried to start a business and I couldn't. I had tried to be a firefighter, and when I started doing paperwork for fire college, I had a seizure. So I was also looking at being in the military. That just made all of that just go away.
Yeah.
I had a relationship fall through. I thought I was going to get married, and I didn't. And so I was really in a place where I was like, I don't even know what. Yeah. And I remember sitting in my bathtub and saying, God, if you can fix my life, you can have it.
Yeah.
And I'll live for you. Like, I'll just give it to you. And really, that is the moment where, when people ask, like, how old were you when you get saved? Mm-hmm. Like, that's the moment that I acknowledge really living for the Lord. Like, I really was like, I'm willing to give you a shot. Like, I know you know the desires that you put in my heart, and if you want to do that, then I'll let you try. Yeah. I'll give you a chance. And it really wasn't long after I was having the conversation, like, with your mom and dad, and going, like, you really did have this under control, and you really are sovereign and good. And I want to say, before I give you the opportunity to talk about a couple other things, I have a couple other questions, but I want to say, like, if there are young people out there that feel that weight and that heaviness, like, you do not have to. It's great if you do.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have it
all
figured out.
Yeah.
You don't. It's a journey. And you can sit back and you can rest in the fact that God has you on a journey.
I think also, especially in, like, with 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds today, they see what people who have spent like 20 years building, they see what those people have, and that's what they want right off the bat. And that's something that the Lord had to teach me with coming out of college and getting engaged, is you need to enjoy where you're at, and you need to be able to build that life with Him, and say, okay, Lord, take me through these steps, take me through whatever, tests I got to go through, take me through the valleys, take me on the mountains, like, wherever you need me to go, I'll do it. But I think because this generation wants everything right then, that they can't enjoy where they're at. They can't enjoy college because they're like, oh, well, my future and this and this and this, and I got to decide this right now, and Jack will tell you I'm guilty of this. We got engaged the next day. I'm looking on Zillow for houses. I'm looking on ways to budget. I'm looking at all the stuff. And I found myself being like, Lord, check me. Like,
Yeah.
let me know you got your hand on it. I don't got to have it all together right now. It will piece together when it's supposed to, and I will see your hand in that. But I really do think that is something that, again, this generation just deals with. So I think it's important that they just know you don't have to have it all together right now.
You don't have to have it all together right now. So, growing up and being at Boaz together.
Yes.
The little girl that left Boaz, because you left us first. I mean, not saying like, oh, you left us.
I know.
I did. You left first. And the little girl that left Boaz was always special. And you still are special. Do you remember Abby Wants to Pray? Okay, so every single time I would say, does anybody want to pray? And they were like, Abby wants to pray. Like, the whole class knew.
Yeah.
Abby wanted to pray, and she did. She wanted to pray. So do you still have, like...
So I'm actually going to be a little bit vulnerable right here.
Okay.
I went through, like, a very bad, which the Lord is still, like, in the middle of weeding me out, but I went through a really bad, like, I was fearful. I did not want to speak in front of people. I didn't want to do anything. I got to a point where I wouldn't even pray over other people. I mean, eventually the Lord, he really held my hand and brought me out of that. But, I mean, now I will go up to students and I'm like, come on. We're going to pray about this right now. So I will say in a sense, yes. But in kid church, when you're a kid, you have that childlike faith and you're like, I'll do it. And, I'm going to say yes because I do now, but I did go through a season where I was like, I'm just going to shut my mouth. I'm not going to open it.
And don't ever let don't ever let the enemy attack.
Right.
Because you've had that since you were a little girl, this like urgency and like you just love talking to Jesus. Like you were like, God, please touch this offering, and then you would just go off. And like so that was like a really important question to me. I really was curious for my own personal knowledge because like you really were so excited to pray and you were so cute.
I would just like to clarify that I'm very excited to pray now, and I will pray with any and everyone. It was just that little like season of like, oop, I'm scared.
Yeah.
But I remember that so vividly. We all go
through it. I'm not gonna play. There are times that I'm like I've already said, I am the intimidated one. Yeah. Like for sure. If I'm in a setting and I sound like it's happening naturally, I'm so intimidated. I'm looking around and I'm like, what are you doing? I wonder what they think. I wonder what she's saying. I wonder what they said. I mean, it's something I've had to deal with and I am still dealing with. Yeah. It's beginning to feel more like the thorn in my flesh. Like, will it ever go away? But I mean, maybe it is the avenue God has me to stay humble, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I am nervous. It's an absolutely intimidating thing to pray for someone. Anything, obviously the enemy hates it. Anything that is beneficial to heaven at all, you're gonna have an attack. And so
anytime I get intimidated, all I could think about is the time, this is actually funny, going back to Rock Kids, the specific children's church name, Rock Kids. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that one time that I was like, I want to pray over the offering, and I straight up prayed over lunch? Do you remember that?
I don't know if I remember that, but I'm sure that wasn't the only time that happened.
I don't know what it was, but I didn't even pray over the offering. I was like, Lord, we thank you for today, and we pray that you bless this food to our bodies and our bodies to your service. And then you came back up there and you were like, we also bless this offering. Amen.
Probably. That sounds about right.
And I was like, oh my goodness. But that was just a funny memory that I was
so going back even further, before I was the children's pastor, long before it was on the table, long before it was even a thought in my mind, I was doing sound in the room.
Oh my goodness.
And I did the sound in the room for like 6 years.
You did. In that little black box.
I did not leave the room. I did not want to leave the room. And one day, Wesley gave out written evaluations, and he was like, I want to see how everybody's doing. And I just, like, wrote pages and pages and pages and was like, I think I'm called to be a children's pastor. I don't really want to be in the room anymore, but I do kind of want to be in the room. Like, if I was like, there's nothing I want more than to leave this room, but there's also nothing I want more than to stay in the room.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the next week. He was like, we're getting you out of here. We're going to do this. Well, guess what? First week out, we're playing. You remember the game? What was that called? Phrase Craze? Is that what it was called?
Yes.
Oh
my goodness. I forgot about that.
So we were playing that game, and he told me to be over it. And I was so excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to get to be over Phrase Craze. Oh, yeah. Your grandmother walks in, Mama Gail.
Good old Mama Gail.
And I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this in front of Mama Gail. I cannot do this in front of Mama Gail. And I got up there and literally was like, I was like, I don't know how to do this in front of Mama Gail. And I did do it, but I remember the whole time being like, why does she have to be here today?
That was literally me, but this Wednesday. So this year, because I really would say no out of fear, this year I was like, Lord, if you open a door of opportunity for me, the first words that are going to come out of my mouth will be yes. And I will not even think about saying anything else, because I know that I'm going to have to, you're going to have to bring me through it. This is all you. This isn't me. And we have these thing called ministry moments at Destination. So on Wednesday nights after the first hype song, just to kind of bring the momentum back down, we'll go back up there and we'll just kind of talk to the students. And my word for this week for them was, it's not a routine, it's a relationship. Well, that's whenever one of our executive pastors decided, well, he was preaching in there anyway, but he was in there, and I'm about to go up, and I'm like, Holy Spirit, you're going to have to give me the words to speak, because my stomach is in knots right now. And I get up there, and most of the time when I walk up on stage, I low-key black out. And that's how I know it's the Lord. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but I know that it's coming from you, so that's okay. But he was in there, and I just remember thinking, please leave.
Do you feel like you're rambling? So I teach on Wednesday nights, and I'll get so nervous that I'm just like, I'm just going to say all the words right now. I'm just going to edit it. And then I'm done, and I'm like, shh.
And then what's so funny is I come off stage, and I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm like, I've come back to reality now, which I do. I'm not not there whenever I'm not speaking, but it's just your body just does that thing where you're like, that was straight up Jesus helping me through that, because I don't even know what all I said. I'm not really
sure what I said.
Yeah, but he was in there, and that's how I was. I was like, Lord, help me right now, because it's intimidating.
It is.
Whenever you have someone that's so seasoned and has all that experience in there, you're like, which you're not doing it for man, but it's still that side of you is really Ugh.
And now being in not that I am the most seasoned of anyone by any means, but being in that in between of not being brand new anymore, actually looking and having a pool of people that you can pour into, that are, so now looking at the situation, me being in the shoes that I'm in now, and going with a little bit more seasoning, going, they're not looking at you like you're crazy. Yeah. They're actually, because I'm doing it now in people that I'm training to do certain things, and I'm learning now that, oh, those people I'm scared of, if they're doing what I'm doing, they're not looking at me like, when is she gonna mess up? I'm gonna tell her she's doing all this wrong, and they're actually cheering you on. They're actually super proud of you for doing this.
Right.
They're actually you're awesome. If they're anything like me, there may be some haters out there. So if you have a hater, just know I'm cheering you on. But really, they're excited, and they're thinking. So now I can a little bit go I just think of myself, and I'm like, okay, what would you be doing in this situation? You are not ripping them apart. They're not ripping you apart. If they're ripping you apart, then that's a heart thing on their part.
Yeah.
Just do the thing that God's telling you to do, and just.
Also, I had to learn. I was like, Abby, whenever you get so fearful to the point where you're about to throw up sick, you're making it about yourself. I was making it about myself at that point. And it was I've gotten to the point now that I get good nerves. It's excited nerves. I'm like, okay, let's go. Yes, I was intimidated with PJ being in there, but I was also I'm ready to go. Like, I know that this is a word that the Lord has given me for these students, so let's get it.
Well, I saw, and by no means am I a psychologist, so this could be completely wrong, and not everything on the internet is true, but I saw on TikTok that from a person who claims to be a psychologist, that your body does not know the difference between fear and excitement, and you can literally trick your brain into telling your body that you're excited when you're scared, or that you're scared when you're excited. And they said lots of anxiety is actually false excitement, that you have trained your body to take anything excitement as fear. And so, like, now I don't know if that, like I said, we're not talking about the BIBLE, but, like, I do look and I go, you're excited. Like, you're excited. You're excited. Like, I just keep telling myself, like, you are so excited. You're so excited. You're going to be fine. Like, this is so exciting. Like, when I get in those settings where I'm like, I just have to keep going, you're excited. You're excited. And everybody around me is probably like, like, here I go again. But, like, I just try to go, you're fine. Like, everything's fine. You're fine. Nobody is.
And then, like, the minute you get done, everyone that knows you were so nervous, they come up to you and they're like, you did so good. You did so good. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know what even happened, but thank you. Like,
I love it when Caleb says, you didn't even look nervous at all. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm like, okay. Me over here in the corner pacing back and forth, going over what I'm going to say.
Take notes, Jack. Tell her she didn't even look nervous at all. That's my favorite thing he says. It'll help you so much. But so my favorite, so I told you my least favorite season in life. I'm going to tell you my absolute favorite season of life is still going on. I love being married with all my heart. Literally, these people who want to, like, bash marriage, it's my biggest pet peeve. Like, hearing people go, especially to newlyweds or engaged couples, like, why are you doing that? This is going to be death. Like, this is a funeral and stuff like that. Marriage is the absolute best. It is the best, and then children come, and that's great, but marriage is the best. There is no facet of my life that I enjoy more than being Caleb's wife. It is an honor and a privilege to be married to him. I love being married to him, and I can't wait because you are now engaged. So tell us how that happened.
So I told Jack, I just always have, like, an inkling of things, and I told Jack, I was like, if you want to surprise me, because Elizabeth Gillett, that's my girl. I love her. That's my girl. And I was like, if you want to surprise me, it's either going to have to be like, I planned the photo shoot with Elizabeth, or you're going to have to completely throw me off with someone else, saying I'm doing something for someone else. Well, we have a women's conference at Destination called Flourish, and Flourish is actually what got me connected to DC the year before. And they're like, we just want you to come down to this area and kind of tell us your testimony of what Flourish did for you that year and how it got you to DC and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, easy peasy. Well, they were telling me that they were going to video it. So I kind of had, like, a little bit of an inkling, and it just so happened that all of my family was coming down that weekend. Like, they were like, oh, we'll all be down there, and Mom was making it a big deal that I ride with her to the video so that way we could go eat dinner afterwards. She was playing it cool, like, oh, Jack has a soccer meeting. He can come meet us after. And I was like, okay. So I thought it was a little bit suspicious, but I was like, I'll just let it slide. Come to find out that I'm going to say this little side part real quick, but he actually my dad drove down here to meet with him so he could talk to him. And I called my dad while they were at that dinner. And I didn't even know that he was meeting with my dad. And my dad texts me. He's like, I can't talk right now. I'm meeting with a future minister. And I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't think anything about it. But he was meeting with Jack. And I was like, oh, okay. But going back to the story, so we drive to downtown Mobile where that fountain was. And I'm thinking all of these pictures are for homecoming. Like, there's so many homecoming groups there, so I didn't think anything about it. And I was seeing all these guys in dress shirts, but I could not find the people that I was supposed to be doing this video with. And so I was like, Mom, I need you to hand me my phone. I'm going to have to text them because I don't see them. And right whenever I went to go turn around and tell her that, Jack walks out behind the tree, and I literally just started crying.
Oh, and that's so sweet, Jack. You did so good.
I'm not even going to lie. I think I was in such shock because there was a little bit of a walk from, he came to get me and then he was taking me to the fountain. I don't remember anything between the walk to the fountain because I think I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, like this is really happening. And we get over there and he reads me the scripture of love is patient, love is kind, and I'm just standing there like trying not to like absolutely sob because I'm trying to pay attention to what he's saying. But he's just saying all this sweet stuff, and then he gets down on a knee, and I literally was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is really happening. Because as a little girl, like, you know me.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be the girl that got married at 18, had kids by 20. Like, I thought I was going to be zooming. And so I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is really happening. All my little girl dreams are coming true. And we got back up, and it was just such a special moment because I got to celebrate with not just my family, but his family. And I'm very thankful because his family has taken me in. Like, I'm the favorite child. You can ask Jack and his brother, like, if one's a favorite, it's me.
Oh.
But what was so funny is before we started dating, we were just friends. I would always tell everyone. They would be like, you and Jack literally like each other. Like, why aren't you dating him? You're pulling him on a string. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, y'all, we're just best friends. I'll never date him. I will never date him. No. Well, everyone in my life was like, you're going to date this guy. Like, y'all are going to end up together. And I was like, no. But I'm stubborn, and I have to figure stuff out for myself sometimes. Well, I ended up figuring it out because we were at a young adults little night that our pastors were putting on, our young adult pastors, and they were talking about being equally yoked. There was a question about a relationship, and they had a panel. And our young adult pastor goes, you're running the race. Like, you are booking it. You look over who's right there next to you. And I, like, physically looked over at Jack, and I was like, okay, I'll tell him, I guess. Because I knew I kind of had feelings for him, but I didn't want to mess up the friendship because of how important he was to me. And so we get in the car, and I could tell that he's just down in the dumps. Like, he gets in the car, and he's kind of, like, staring off into the wheel of the car, and he's holding the wheel like this. And I could tell he's upset, and I was like, I have something to tell you, and if I don't tell you right now, I'm never going to say it because I'm scared. And I was like, I like you. And he literally goes, oh, really?
Oh.
And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, I'm glad you went first because I was about to tell you to hit the road. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad I went first too. He was straight up about to be like, all right, we can't hang out no more, which is valid. Like, that's valid. It was very much valid
because you went first.
Well, we would hang out all the time.
Uh-huh.
I would go to his house.
He was like, I really want to find a wife, and you're dragging me down.
His dad straight up went in his room last night and was like, you need to ditch this girl. Like, we would hang out all the time, and I knew I had feelings for him, but I just didn't want to admit it because I wanted to be the one that was like, no, it was me, because everyone was telling me, it's Jack. You and Jack are meant to be. And I was like, what? No. And then finally I told him, and now we're getting married.
Oh, that's so sweet.
We're very excited.
So when me and Caleb started dating, well, I touched on, like, a relationship that I thought was going to lead to marriage. And then I didn't really date again for a while after that. Mm-hmm. And then I had another guy who really, really, really liked me, and we tried, but, like, I just kind of hit this place where I was trying to honestly decide if I was ever going to get married.
Yeah.
Because I'm an extremist. I'm all in or I'm all out. Like, am I going to be? And so I was having this conversation with God, like, do you want me to give myself to ministry? Like, do you want me to do that? Because I'm tired of hurting people. I'm tired of, like, the dating. Like this isn't for me. I don't want to do this anymore. I said, you can put... If you want me to get married, I want you to put him in front of my face. I want you to say, like, this is your husband. I want it to be so plain and so obvious that I cannot deny it. Well, 2 weeks later, Caleb Jones, the cousin that wasn't the cousin, sends me a message, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it boiled down to, will you go walk the track with me? And I was like, well... okay, I'll walk the track with him. What's that going to hurt? Well, didn't think about it. Never crossed my mind. He comes to the park. He goes to the park, outside like the River Church area. Mm-hmm. He goes to the park, and he parks his car, and I'm sitting in my Jeep waiting on him. And I look over at the parking spot, and he's sitting in the parking spot. And literally, he was sitting in the parking spot where I said, if you'll just put him in front of my face and tell me that it's him, I'll marry him. And we got out of the car, and we walked for a minute kind of awkward with each other. And then I was like, I think we're going to get married. And literally, we walked around the track planning our wedding. Like, we knew, and within 6 months. Within 2 months, we were engaged. Within 6 months, we were married. But I told him, I said, I prayed for my husband. I said, if God's going to send me a husband, I need him to show me. And you just parked your car. And he was like, well, I have some questions for you first. And he asked me these questions, and he was like, I do think we're going to get married. Yeah. And then we found out that we were fasting the same days. Like literally the exact same 3 days we had fasted. We found out I was up for an internship at Elevation Church. Okay. I hope she's not watching, but I was up for an internship at Elevation Church, and I wanted that pretty bad. Mm-hmm. I had wondered, I always thought, and never gonna happen, I had wondered if it was possible that what was going to happen at Boaz happened at Boaz, where I became the children's pastor, but I wasn't sure. And I honestly applied for this internship at Elevation like long before it was even a possibility. Like it took like 9 months to ever hear back. And I got to that point and ended up like getting the like, it's not you. And I was like, well, okay. And come to find out, he was engaged to a girl. He was engaged to a girl that ends up going to Elevation Raleigh. And like, literally, he's like, you can move to Alabama with me. If you want to get married, you can move to Alabama with me. Or you cannot. Like, you're going to have to come. And she was like, no, I'm going to Elevation Raleigh. And she goes to Elevation, and I am in Alabama waiting on him, and we just swapped.
That's crazy. I didn't know
he
that.
broke off his engagement, and we ended up married. And so, like, the more we talked, the more I was like, I asked God for it to be obvious. And that's one more message just to all the single people out there, and really anything. You can apply it to anything. But, like, God cares about you. God cares about you and me, and he cares so much, and he is a God who still speaks. Yes. We make hearing God's voice way harder than it has to be.
Way too much.
He wants to talk to us. He is not going and I'm careful saying he's not whispering, because the Bible literally says he's whispering. He's not hiding his voice from anybody. It's not something you have to go and really, like, if you want to hear from God, he wants to talk to you. There are times that you have to, seek out and search for and dig, but like, we make it way too deadgum hard. Yeah. And if you pray, God, make it clear, make it plain, make it evident, he is going to, because he cares about us. Yeah. He's a good father. The Bible says he's a good father. He's going to take care of us. If you, just like you told this story about Jack, you calling Jack, like, he responded to you. Mm-hmm. He couldn't respond to you the way you wanted him to by answering the phone, but your dad said, I'm talking to a future minister one day. Like, he's going to respond to you. And God is not going to leave you wondering if he loves you. Yeah. Like, these burning questions those are the types of conversation with God that really grieve me for people. Those are the ones that are saying, like, it's not, God won't tell me what to eat for breakfast. That's not the conversations people are saying. When people say, I can't hear from God, it's like, what are you asking them? It's questions like, do you love me? Like, he's telling you. He wants to tell you.
It's also, like, Scripture doesn't just tell us, like, in everything that happens in the Word, he shows us.
For sure.
And so many times, and I'm going to be a little bit like, not blunt, but I'm just going to say it. If you are single though, and you're seeking after a relation, like an earthly relationship more than you want to seek after your relationship with the Father, then he may be like, there's going to be a little bit of a delay because I need you to seek me first so I can send you the person that you're supposed to spend your life with, but also do kingdom work with.
Because I do think a lot of times that he puts on hold because we're not looking at ourselves as valuable. At least in my case, I was not looking at myself as valuable as I should have been. I was looking at myself as just like, oh, I would just be like, somebody would just be okay with me being their wife.
Yeah.
I never considered, and it took God revealing to me like how he had to talk to me, and he had to be like, and again, I'm not trying to not be humble here, but like he had to tell me like, you're special.
Yeah.
What you have is special. I put something in you that's special, and it's gonna go with somebody else's special.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it. Like, don't. And I go back to like pearls to swine. Don't give this to somebody else.
Yeah.
This is for. And he had. And I think a lot of times with young people, God wants to sit down and show you just how special you are, and just all the things you need to know before you go and get picked or picked. Or, because the truth be told, don't believe the lie that nobody wants you and that you can't get married. Truthfully, you can walk out of whatever building you're in right now and you can go find someone willing to marry you. Yeah. Like, truly, you can find somebody. Like, you can find a person. There is a person out there. Just wait. Just let him do it. Because, and ask him, say, show me plainly. He will show you plainly. You start holding him to, this is what I've asked you, God. I've asked you to show me plainly. Show me plainly. And even in my case, I wasn't looking for it. Like, I remember saying, show me plainly. And then it took it, like, I wasn't like, show me. I wasn't out there like, oh, where's the plain thing? It just, and I was like, oh my goodness, you're showing me plainly.
Well, see, mine was, I was like, I had just come out of like a quote unquote, not even a situationship. My ego was hurt by someone that they didn't choose me. And so I was like, ugh.
For sure.
And the Lord checked me on that too. But I literally told Jack, whenever I first told him I liked him, I was like, I told the Lord that I was going to be single for a year. So that way, like, I just wanted to spend time with just the Lord. And I think that's why he did bless me with Jack, because he was my only focus. Like, poor Jack, I was literally about to make him wait like 11 months before we were even officially going to start dating. But then, eventually I felt a release because I was like, Lord, I don't want to step into this too early if it's not what you have for us right now.
Yeah.
But I felt a release. But I was literally like, I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want a relationship. Like, I just solely want the Lord right now. And then all of this just kind of moved in. It was, like you said, like it was right there plainly in front of my face. And I was just like, So.
We don't give the God who parts the seas enough credit.
Right.
He parted the seas. He walked on the water. He calmed the storm. And he can send you the husband you're supposed to have.
They will love you the correct way, too.
Let him do it his way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And love you in the way that you desire to be loved. I feel like a lot of the times as Christians, we get that wrong of like, we go into relationships thinking like, oh, he's a Christian, I'm a Christian, this will be a Christ-centered relationship. Mm-hmm. I hate to break it to some people, but like, that's not how that works.
And there are wolves in sheep's clothing.
Oh, yes. That was my point I was getting to. People will start off a relationship their best selves, and then the deeper you go, they're like, you really get to know them, and you really get to know what sin they're dealing with too. Like, it's not just that you may find a guy and you're like, oh, he loves the Lord and he does this and he does that, but he's struggling with lust and he brings you down with that lust. And it's like, you genuinely, whenever you're seeking out a relationship, the Lord, if you seek the Lord first in that, he will bring you the person that is supposed to love you in the correct way, protect you in the correct way, and lead you in the correct way, not just emotionally, but spiritually. And I think that's what a lot of people miss too, especially people my age, is they look for what they first look at and what they first see in a person, rather than saying, okay, Lord, I'm looking at you first. where are you trying to keep my focus at, and who am I supposed to focus on?
Before we go, is there anything else that I want to make sure that I gave you every opportunity to answer all the questions? Is there anything you would like to say to this generation that you haven't already? It's okay if the answer is no. But
I actually do have something.
go ahead.
I was praying about saying this, but just don't let fear be the thing that holds you back from stepping into your calling. I let that do that to me for so long because I felt, I'm probably going to get emotional here, but I went through a couple hard seasons, even just coming out of college. And the Lord really had to hold me. And I really had to trust him and say, Lord, like, I don't feel worthy. I don't feel worthy to do anything. Like, I didn't feel worthy enough to hold a mop in a church bathroom. Mm-hmm. But he was there with me. And I kind of relate it back to the women at the well. Like, he knew everything. He knew everything about her. And he still went to her, and he still wanted to sit with her, and he still wanted to know her. And after I made that realization, I was like, Lord, if I'm stepping into this, it's because you're carrying me. None of this is about me. None of this is about me. And I know I said it earlier, but like, I really was making opportunities about me. Yeah. And so I know I said this already, but when I told the Lord, like, opportunities you open, I'll step into, it was like he was saying, okay, you waited so long to step into these. Here's opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. But because I've had so many of those at one time, it really has taught me, like, I do have to rely on the Lord to get me. While I'm not on a platform, I'm not saying, oh, I'm on a platform. I'm saying I would rather be holding a mop in a bathroom. Mm-hmm. I do not care about anything about platforms because I get nervous. But he leads, like, he gives me the words to speak, and he gives me the strength to go on those platforms and speak and just connect with his people. And so just don't let fear be the thing that holds you back, because you can't be walking in faith and fear at the same time. And that's kind of what our pastor preached on too this past Sunday. But just don't let fear and the enemy keep you from the calling that the Lord has placed over you.
And there you have it, guys. This has been For Heaven's Sake. I can't wait to see you next week. I love my friend Abby. She did a great job. You're the best.
You're the best.
I will see y'all next week, guys. Bye. That was so good. It's so good. It's going to be so good. I already know it's so good.